Hello, how you doing? I'm Jim. That was the slickest start to a Dadless Soul Sessions live that we've ever had. The little video that said the live stream is coming soon had run out, and I came live onto your internet device. And it's just a good job I wasn't naked or something. I mean, that could have happened, couldn't it? In fact, that did happen to a friend of mine on a work call during COVID. But I won't go into too many details because I don't think he wants that spreading around on the internet. Anyway, here we go. This is a special Dadless Soul Sessions, an extra one. We've snuck in there the main one coming a week tomorrow on the last Thursday of the month. We'll be talking to Ben Morehouse, who is a dad we've spoken to before. He lost his daughter due to a stillbirth a number of years ago, and is now raising money for Tommy's, the baby loss charity, by doing extreme walks. So last year he walked from London to Manchester, where Tommy's research is taking place, and he did it non-stop. Didn't rest, didn't have any days off, maybe stopped for a brew, and that was about it. And it was at the height of the heat wave last year, if you remember that, the hottest recorded temperatures in Britain ever. This year he's going further. He's going from Edinburgh down to Manchester. He's going to do that in one go as well. I remember when we had him on the Dadless Soul Sessions before he did his London walk, we had people getting in contact saying it was impossible. You could never do that. You can't do that. It's not possible. And people saying it as if they had some kind of inside knowledge on it, but they didn't, because Ben did it, because he's a machine. And he'll be talking about that, and also about how difficult it is to raise money for charity because of what is still seen as a taboo subject. So you'll hear from Ben on next Thursday. That's the 29th of June, I believe, from 8:30. We'll also have Glenn, the well-being and health coach, with his clinic, if you've got any questions about that. And hopefully Alex will be back with our conflict management clinic, even though he was stuck on the motorway last month and couldn't do it. Plus, you'll hear from Dan as well. But first of all, this is a special episode because we are talking about the Baton of Hope. And I could tell you all about that, but why not get it from someone who has all the actual real information? Hello, Rose. How you doing? You all right?
Hey, Jim Lassol. Good to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not related to Dan Lassol, but,
No, only in spirit, right?
Yeah, exactly. Brothers from another mother and all of that. Yeah. So Rose, tell us about what your role is.
Sure. So when I'm aside from my normal world, my role for the last 3 months has been as Brighton project lead for the Baton of Hope, which is designed to be the UK's biggest ever suicide prevention initiative. And it's completely taken over my life, day and night. And it's a volunteer role. We're all volunteers all over the country. And it has become a multi-tentacled beast, way bigger than I think any of us imagined.
Well, that's the thing, because I was looking at the press release for it about the events that are happening just on the Brighton leg, and you've got a lot going on, right?
So, yeah, I mean, I only kind of accepted, if you like, the role about 3 months ago. I won't say I was coerced. I was strongly encouraged, having said I've never organised anything except my wedding last year, which was a great wedding. It was a festival wedding. It was fab, don't get me wrong, but it's the only thing I've ever organised in terms of events. I'm a suicide prevention trainer. Put me in a classroom, put me on Zoom. Great, that's what I do. I say classroom, prison, schools. I teach people, but organising a series of events in one day, which have to be linked by a moving object, the baton itself, is quite something. So I've not done it alone. I've got a formidable team that have, again, volunteers that have just come out of the woodwork, mainly through LinkedIn, just putting a post out. And then once you start the snowballing, it's Brighton. You got to go big, right? You got to go big in Brighton. So, and everyone we talk to wants to be a part of it, Dadless Soul included,
Exactly. And we'll talk about what Dadless Soul's doing in a bit, and some of the other events. But I imagine all the cities kind of want to outdo each other, right? They all puts on the best show.
You're asking me if it's competitive?
Yes, I am.
Of course not. No, it's every city is so different, right? Every city has a different vibe. So, some are much more focused around the sports, for example, like football. And we have got Solly March from the Brighton Hove Albion involved. We've of course got Fatboy Slim as well, our own Norman Cook. But no, every city has a completely different vibe. And actually, in terms of like we start in Scotland this weekend, the tour starts. It's a 12-day tour, and Glasgow itself, that tour. That I won't say there were some problems. Things changed. So in fact, you mentioned about Ben's incredible walks just now. The Glasgow tour actually has become a tour from Glasgow to Edinburgh. They're going to walk across the country. So everyone is so different. And then some are focused, like I said, more around sport or around various religions. We've got obviously a big focus on the community, the charities, the LGBT community. Yeah, there's a lot to cover in Brighton.
So let's talk about what the Baton of Hope is in general. It is a tour, as you say, and there is a baton. Yes.
Yes, there is literally a baton, and it is a baton. It is not a torch. Thank goodness we don't have the fire element to contend with, because
Yeah.
just
Health
imagine
and
the
safety
risk
nightmare.
assessment. But it is sort of loosely based. Well, highly strongly based on the idea of the Olympic torch, so that being of course a symbol for physical health, and so the Baton of Hope, the idea is that it becomes a uniting symbol for the country around mental health, yes, but more specifically around suicide prevention. And it is literally it's the most beautiful item. I've seen it up close now, and it's full of symbolism. So like on the top you've got the semicolon symbol, which you might well know has become a symbol for surviving suicide attempt, because it's the idea that do you know about this? It's the idea that a semicolon could be the end of a sentence, but it's not. The sentence continues. So it's a real strong symbol for survival. And then there's little people holding each other up, and anyway, so the baton itself is beautiful. But yeah, the idea is that it tours the country, and in the 12-day tour that starts this weekend, 900 people are going to carry it. 90 in Brighton alone. We've got 90 local baton bearers, each carrying it about 300 meters. So let's not go there with the logistics, because you can imagine that's quite fun. Luckily that's only partly my job in Brighton, but we've got a lot of volunteers involved. But what's amazing is that these 90 people just locally, and we could have easily, if we'd promoted more, we could have easily got way more, but they would have walked about a meter each, right? But everybody that's involved in that way, they're doing it because they're affected by suicide in some way. They've lost somebody, or they've got their own story of survival. And of course that could be most of us. That's most of us. In my experience, 10 years working in this industry, I hate even using that word, in this field, in this area of life. I've come to realize most of us have a connection to suicide in some way.
And that's the thing, is that it can be quite something that, as talking about taboo subjects as well with Ben's walk, it's one of those things that people don't like to talk about, and this is the opposite, isn't it? This is like the very public kind of event to go, you can't ignore this, let's talk about it, and let's show you the Baton of Hope. And that's it, it's the Baton of Hope, isn't it? And it's
exactly.
showing.
And we sorry, were you going to ask a question? I was going to pick up on what you said, but
fine, no, go ahead, it's fine. I don't think there was a question, I think I was just talking.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, I mean, we can't ignore it. We like I said, first of all, we all know somebody who's probably either died or has struggled, or we've had our own thoughts around suicide. Very, very normal, more normal than we think. The Samaritans estimate 1 in 20 people at any one time are thinking of suicide, 5% of the population. But the other reason we can't ignore it is because the numbers are just stagnated. Last sort of 20 years or so, the reported numbers, and these are only the reported numbers, right? So perhaps the real figure is far higher, is around 6,000 people a year in the UK dying by suicide. And you break that down to 17 a day, 1 every 90 minutes. And of course, 3/4 are men. This is just too many, and any number is too many, because everyone is a story, everyone is a person, everyone is a family and friends left behind. But the fact that it's stagnated, the fact that obviously people are just not getting the help they need, something is broken if we're not bringing that number down, despite all our efforts. And there's so many people working in this area, and all this focus on mental health. Yes, we could get political, and it's there's funding issues and there's all this stuff going on, but what is going on? Where is the lack of community, because we know that's one of the big things that brings people together and keeps us well. And it's what Dad Lassalle does so well. So
So
yeah,
the statistics, particularly around men, is one of the reasons why Dad Lassalle why it exists,
I know.
because it is one of those things where, you know, we want men to talk, and we want men to come together and to find that support. And the numbers are shocking. They still are. And, you know, we put that out in press releases that we do, and in kind of marketing that we do, to, you know, to show why what we do is necessary. And it is shocking, and it's shocking that that is stagnating as well.
Yeah.
So it's why we need events like this, and this is something very public, and it is a celebration of the hope, isn't it?
That's exactly right. Yeah, that's the idea. So I mean, this is a brand new charity. I think it only got charity status in the last sort of, well, within the last 3 months. But it was started by a dad, a guy called Mike McCarthy, who was a BBC journalist, a Sky journalist. And 2 years ago, his own son Ross took his own life, 31. And Ross's sort of dying wish, if you like, part of the note that he did leave, which is quite rare, but he left a note, and it said, you know, that please sort the mental health system out. People are not getting the help they need. And his dad, Mike, has founded the Baton of Hope in this, you know, in his son's honour, if you like. And it's the driving force behind it. But my goodness, the hundreds, thousands of people that have got behind it, because so many people have a similar story. Yeah, so it's just snowballed and snowballed, because I think people really are so desperate to now talk about it. There must be no shame and stigma around deaths of suicide. I've got close friends who have lost family members. Of course, I have to, you know, close family friends, but I'm thinking of a couple in particular who have lost children to suicide, and even their closest friends, they didn't know what to say following the death, and so they said nothing at all. And that is just devastating, because at a time when a person needs their friends more than ever, that fear of like making it worse or saying the wrong thing means that people don't even get the support following a bereavement. So, you know, we've got to start there, but we've also got to start right back where people are showing those first initial signs of not coping, which we've all probably experienced at some point, to varying degrees, and just being unafraid to go and say, hey, you seem like you're not yourself today. You know, how bad are things right now? And, you know, are things so bad that you're thinking about not being here anymore? Do you think about suicide? Is that on your mind? You know, we have to ask the question,
Mhm.
because that's how we talk. That's how not saying the word. You know, that's when people can sadly slip through the net and pass and die.
It's it's amazing that this has become such a big thing so quickly, and there is so much going to go on over the 12 days of the tour. What's going to happen in Brighton? What have you got planned?
What's not going to happen in Brighton? Okay, I'll talk you through it super quick. So we start at the Peace statue. Seems like a great place to start. Symbol of peace, hope. So we start there at 8 a.m. We head westwards. We head straight down to see Norman Cook. He's going to, you know, wave, say hi, hold the baton. Then we flip round and we go back to Rockwater. There's going to be a business breakfast. So we call it a network breakfast. So if any of your listeners, watchers, anybody seeing this is in any way, you know, business, I mean, that's anybody, come along to our business breakfast. That's one of 2 paid events. Everything else is free, but that's a networking event. Then we go on to, where do we go from there? Down the seafront, down the pier, we go to the Brighton Table Tennis Club, which is such an amazing hub down there that Tim Holtman's organised. We've got Audio Active. Oh no, I've missed one. Platform 9 in Hove Town Hall. There's one in Hove, there's a couple in Hove, down to Kemp Town. We go up to Brighthelm Gardens on Queen's Road for we're working there with the Cascade Recovery. So that's all, yeah, people in recovery from drugs and alcohol. And from there, then we head up to the Bevy pub. So we go all the way. The Baton is traveling. It's going 27 kilometers the whole day, right? It's a big. I walked it myself with some of the team on Saturday. It's not quite London to Manchester, but you know,
No,
it's a good day's walk.
it's enough, right? Yeah.
It's a good day's walk. So the Bevy, I'm sure you guys know, is, well, that's where, of course, Dad Lassalle are going to be co-hosting an amazing family, like, after school play date, DJ, barbecue sesh, and the Baton will drop in there for 45 minutes. The event will go on for longer. I think it's 3 till 6. And then the Baton will go back into town, ready for our final event of the day, which is at the Dome. We're putting on a show, like a whole event in itself, a big evening event called An Evening of Hope. And that's, yeah, we've got beatboxers, we've got choir, we've got poetry, we've got drag queen, we've got amazing speakers, Johnny Benjamin and Neil Laybourne, who were part of the Stranger on the Bridge documentaries about them. Yeah, I mean, I could go on. There's a lot happening, and people are just so encouraged to be a part of it, or just to work out. There's a website that shows the route and timings, so working out when we're close by you, and come out and even just cheer or clap, or whatever feels appropriate. Talk, thank the people that are walking. It's going to be a moving experience, but as you mentioned, hope. I mean, it is all about hope. We don't want it to be a depressing day. The real kind of buzzwords that I guess I keep using over and over when I'm describing it are, yes, hope, but community, connection, and survival. That's what all this is about. Like, how can we help people who are still alive now to live another day and to get through tough times?
And yeah, I would guess that's the message, isn't it? When dealing with friends who you're kind of concerned about, it is they need that community and they need that support, and that's what you can do to help them out.
Absolutely. And you're saying them, and I know what you mean, them, us. There's no such thing, right, when it comes to something like this, because yes, it's about learning to help others, but also recognizing at the same time that any one of us can become vulnerable, and we might be learning skills to help others, but we also might need to be the one to go, actually today I'm the one that needs that help. So yeah, breaking down that idea of them being the vulnerable and us being the strong ones, because that's complete fallacy, as we know.
Of course. This is detail of our event. I mean, I'd love to show all of the posters for all the other events, but I made this one, so I've got this on my computer. But yeah, so do come along. It is free, but yeah, do book your tickets. And it's at the Bevy, 3 till 6. It's a free play date after school, and this is the big thing. This is how much we're committed to the cause. We're letting mums in. All right.
I mean, I'm grateful as a mum of a toddler. I would, I'm grateful.
I mean,
thank you.
Letting you see behind the curtain at what goes on at that.
It's an inclusive event all over. So thank you for opening your doors, and thank you for having me on. I don't know if I'm your first female identifying guest. You don't have to tell me now, but I feel really honoured to be a part of Dadler Soul.
Well, it's lovely to have you, because that is the thing. If, as long as you've got something interesting to say, we'd love to hear from you, and you do, so that's great. But I think you might be our third female identifying guest.
Okay, that's fine. Lucky third.
The most recent. So
sure.
I'm just gonna put up that QR code that we've got. So look, I only just learned to do this a couple of months ago.
This is clever.
And it is, isn't it? It's like being on the actual.
I mean, I'm impressed.
So yeah, if people want to book the tickets, but I didn't have anything to do with that. That happens naturally as part of whatever it is that I've done. But
and that goes to the Dadler Soul event, does it, at the Bevy? The 3
yeah, it goes to our Eventbrite, where you can just book your free place. It's free, so do come along and make sure you take part, because it would be good to see you all.
We should also mention it's a multi-way. That event is Dadler Soul, the Bevy, Grassroots Suicide Prevention. I think Plus X are also involved. And then, of course, it's for Baton of Hope. So there's like 5 organs. It's like a multi-way partnership. It's solid.
Have you found that people have been really keen to help out? Because yeah, as you say, it's a big collaboration. And then I imagine for the whole of the day, for all of the events, people have been getting together.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's been like, not that it's a marketing job, but it's been the easiest sell. You say what this is about, and people are like, where do I sign? I want to be a part of this. And like I said, we're running on an army of volunteers, myself included. There's 12 project leads, obviously, across the 12 cities. We're all doing it for free. Everyone is not charging. So it's been, people just want to be a part of this.
And people can come out. They can come and say hello. What time do you start again?
Start at 8 a.m. at the Peace Statue. The obvious place to send people is batonofhopeuk.org. And then you click on like the tour, and then you click Brighton, and it's like a whole map with all the events and the places to stop. But I guess apart from the Dadler Soul event, which is 3 to 6, if you can then get down to the Dome for 7, if you can sort childcare, I know that's not always easy, but that's going to be like, I guess, the ultimate event of the day. And then from there, of course, it goes up to London for day 12, and it's that baton then gets handed over to Parliament on the 6th of July. So our day is the 5th, London's the 6th.
Yeah, I don't think I actually said what the day was, did I? So there we go.
That's right, Wednesday the 5th, 2 weeks today, if you're watching
2
live.
weeks today. And how is it at the moment? How are you doing? You
I mean, you know, I'm all right. We're okay. There's a bunch of us who are not sleeping very much, but it's the like literally definition of teamwork and hope. You know, we believe in this so much that this is going to change lives and save a life. You know, if you save one, right? And while someone's still alive, while someone's breathing, there's hope. So this is big.
I think that's a great way to end it. Rose, thank you so much. Really appreciate you for coming on to our little. This is, I'll tell you what though, this is our first Dadless Soul session special. So there you go.
Oh, there you go. I got a first in there.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much for that. And I'll put all of the details onto our website as well, dadlesssoul.com. I will write a blog about it with all of the details that people need. And you can go and find that probably from about tomorrow morning if I get around to it. But I realize there is only 2 weeks, so I do need to do it fairly soon.
Yeah.
So Rose, thank you so much for coming on.
You're welcome. Thank